Hey, good afternoon, students, and welcome to our week number 2 for our class of Competitiveness Model 6 for the sixth semester. And we have important topic today that is personal and business saving habits. So we want to learn today about what we need to do to save some money, to have these personal savings in an account, probably in and some of the strategies that I'm going to teach you today, like the envelope strategy, the 80-20 strategy, also the 50-30-20% strategy that we're going to learn today. Also, in a business savings, when you get any type of company, any type of business, you also need to save money through the cost. So we're going to learn today about this topic. So welcome to the class. Let's just say before, this is the topic for today, personals and business savings. We have the goals for this class. Today, we are going to learn what a personal saving is and a business saving is. That's why I'm telling you at the beginning of the class about that thing and how important it is that we'll be prepared for any thing, any illness, any disease, any type of problem we can have in the future. And the second one is that we are going to start saving money using some techniques. We're going to learn about some techniques today. Like just put your money in a jar. That was the number one. The second one, the envelope strategy. We're going to learn that part too. The third one is the 80-20% strategy. And the fourth strategy is the 50-30-20%. And we're going to change some bad habits that probably we have. We're going to learn also about what a budget is important, what the elements of a budget, why we need to have a budget and just keep our expenses through a budget. It's really important that we understand that part. Probably we just, everybody know how to spend money, but just a few know how to save money. And here today we're going to learn some techniques that are going to help us to save money. Okay, and here we have the quotes for this week. The first one says, when you want to build better money habits, sometimes the best thing you can do is to start small. So it's okay if you're saving 5 quetzales, 10 quetzales, 20, 50, 100, etc. It's not a small amount. It's just good. Whatever amount you can save, it's good because you're putting a part of your expenses this money, and you have this money for anything in the future, or probably a dream, probably a project that you may have. And here we have the second quote that says, it's not your salary that makes you rich, it's your spending habits. You see how important is that? How interesting is that quote? Because it's not our salary, it's not the money that we earn, it's how we spend that money that make us rich or in another position. And also you need to establish good saving habits. And what this quote says, that building good financial habits can provide a rhythm or sense of control for your financial life. And this is so true. Because if you have these good habits and you have this reading every month, that you're saving some money and you get everything with a really good manage of your money, you can have this sense of control. You're going to get this peace because you are not worried about, I don't have money to pay this, I don't have money to pay that. That's why it's so important to get these good saving habits, and also to learn that we need to have a good budget every month. Okay, in here, we're going to learn also today 5 ways to get savings. That is what we're going to do. If you're new to saving, it can be hard to know where to start. So, because sometimes we don't know know how to start. We don't know how to do. Well, in here we have 5 ways to get into this habit, into the savings habit. The first one is that we need to create a budget. Creating a budget, we have the opportunity to save money also, because we are putting aside we're putting aside the money that we need for any situation that we may have in the future. So that's why it's so important. The first recommendation is creating a budget. Okay, so in here, when you create a budget, you are identifying opportunities to save, because you know what are your income, what are your expenses, how much money do you need for food, to pay your house, how much money you need for transportation, how much money do you need for pay all your utilities like the electricity, water. If you have kids, probably you need money to pay the school, etc., or to pay the university also. That's why it's so important to create a budget. The second recommendation is keep saving separate from regular income. So it's easier to build up savings if you keep them in a dedicated savings account and separate them from your everyday banking. So it depends the way that you want it to do. For example, if you want to put in an envelope your money from your savings, it's okay. If you put it in a jar, it's okay. But if you put it in a bank, it's okay also. But you need to separate this money. So let's say you have a payroll account. So open another account. So in that account, you know that is part just for your savings. You don't have to touch this money, because this money is for any situation that you may have in the future. That's why it's so important to separate the money that you're earning and the money from your savings. Let me go. We're going with the third one. Track your spending. When you use a personal finance or banking application to monitor and track what you spend, frequently small purchases soon add up, and you may spot areas to cut back on spending and save more instead. So, what is the focus of this third characteristic, this third advice that we are reading right now? Track your spending. Sometimes we just spend like small amounts, and when you know you haven't spending a lot of money, because all these small amounts, if you add these small amounts, or it's a lot of money that you're spending, you even don't know sometimes what are you buying. That's why it's important to get your budget, all the things that we're going to learn today. The fourth one, okay, save a little and often. Saving any amount of money, like I said at the beginning of the class, it doesn't matter if you're saving 10 quetzales, 20 quetzales, 50, 100, 1,000, it doesn't matter, but save. Any type of amount is good. However, it's small, everything is worthwhile. It can help you get into the habit of saving. You can make saving easier by setting up an automated transfer from your main bank account into a savings account for the same day each month. So you can program this from your bank application, from your app, or from the online banking. You can do that. You can do all those transfers, and you can record that in your application, that in certain day of the month, automatically we're going to transfer from your main account to your savings account. You have to choose your date of the payment, for example, and you'll save money before you're tempted to spend it. So that way you're separating the focuses of these accounts, one for save money and one for your expenses. And the next one says, compare and save. Use comparison sites to check if you could be paying less for your household expenses, like utilities, phone, internet, groceries, etc. Okay, you have to compare in what place or what company you can pay less money. And all this money that you're paying less is the one that you are going to save. So if you switch to a cheaper deal, try to put this amount that you're saving each month in your savings account. So let's say an example with the service of your cell phone that you have. Um, Say we're going to say that right now I'm paying 300 quetzales every month. But I have this other company that give me the same service for 200 quetzales. Well, I'm saving 100 quetzales. But what happened with this 100, I have to put them in the place where I'm saving my money. And that is how you can save money. Okay. So in here, we have how to prepare a budget and why it's important. Why prepare a budget? It's important that we be prepared every month about the income that we have, but also for our expenses. And we're going to see here why a budget is important and what happens when you don't have a budget. We're going to see both parts. So check this out. What happens when you do not have a budget? Well, without a budget, you are unaware of your financial situation. You don't know if you have money or not, or if you're going to have enough money to pay all the expenses that you have. What happened when you don't have a budget? Happened that you are just surviving month by month, but you are not prepared for any emergency. So you are just living with the money that you have, but you are not prepared for the future. That happens when you don't have a budget. No budget equals to no savings. And also, if you don't have a budget, no investment ideas if you don't know your budget. Even if you get great ideas, if you don't have a budget, you cannot make any dream, any project because you don't have enough money. Absence of a budget can keep you in debts because you are using the money from another things. You are not focused on the things that you have to pay, on the things that you need to have because you need to fill in your needs every month. Why a budgeting is important. Okay, if you had a budget, this budget is going to help you identify and achieve financial goals. Also, with a budget will help you to manage your money. Budget increase your saving. With a budget, directs your money from go really flow. Also, a budget prepares you for any contingencies that you may have in the future. And the budget provides us sense of financial and security. And this is something really important because you're going to have this mental peace. You're going to sleep really, really well because everything is under control. But what happens when we are not in control of our finances? You can sleep, you're nervous, you're worried for everything because you don't have enough money to pay. But this is just happen when you don't have a budget. That's why it's so important that in your daily basis, you get your a budget. You can work it for a week, for every 15 days, for a month, or for the semester if you want to. But you need to be prepared. That's why you need to plan in advance about all of this. Okay? We have here some tips, some techniques that we want to learn today. You need to name your savings. Put a name for everything. So if you want to travel to any country, or you want to buy a car, you want to buy a motorcycle, you want to buy a new TV, a new cell phone, you just put the name because our mind works that way. So that way your mind will know that in this special place where we're putting this money is for your car, is for any project that you have, for your company, for example, for anything, for whatever you want. So this is the first thing. You have to name your savings. Put a name to this bank account, put a name in a jar, put a name in a box, in any place in where you can save this money. Okay, we have here the first system that we want to learn today. That is called the envelope system. And what is that? Okay, when you receive your money, you need to have several envelopes. It's okay if you just white envelopes, so you can do it in colors. So what you have to do first, you have to label every envelope for each spending category. Okay, so we're going to have envelope for savings, an envelope for food, an envelope for gas, and another envelope for entertainment, probably another envelope when you want to put the money where you pay the university, the rent, the electricity, water, internet, etc. So that way you're going to organize how you're going to expend the money that you have. But important here, you need to have one envelope for your savings. That's in the case that you don't like to have, for example, a bank account. The second thing with this system is you have to record the planned amount on the appropriate envelope. So, for example, you need for the food of the week or the month, let's say 500 or 1,000 quetzales. So just you label this envelope and you put food, 500 quetzales. Gas, 100 quetzales. Let's say for entertainment, 100 quetzales, etc. So for each category, you need to put an envelope, the name, and the amount that you are going to save. Okay? Okay, so we continue explaining the system. As you receive the money, you have to place in the plain amount in each envelope. If you get paid like every 2 weeks, every 15 days, or if you get paid monthly, or probably you get money every day because you have a business, for example. So when you are getting the money, you just put that money in the place that each envelope has. And because remember that we have a specific name for each envelope. The fourth thing is when you need to spend money, they cash out of the appropriate envelope. That's why you are separating the money. So you need to take this cash out for the appropriate envelope. So let's say if you need to buy food, you take food from the food envelope. You don't have to take the money from the electricity envelope, for example. Okay, when an envelope is out of cash, you're done spending for that category. So you cannot touch other envelope. If not, well, we're going to fail with this system if we do that. That's why it's so important that we keep this part. Okay, we're going to see here an example. In here, we have just a picture of a car, but probably you want to buy a house, or you want to buy a motorcycle, or a new computer, a TV. I'm going to show you what we can do to save this money so we can reach any type of goal. Okay, so let's see here. How much money do you need to buy this car? It's just an example. Let's say that this car costs 15,000 quetzales. And I want this car to buy. I want it for Christmas. I wanted to buy in December this car, okay? So when I start in January, I divide these 15 quetzales in 12 months, that amount that we have in a year. So I have to save 1,250 quetzales monthly. Okay, but what is that? what happened if probably I'm get paid every week or I paying every 2 weeks, I have to divide this amount depending in the time that I get paid. Okay, but let's say that we have this 1,250. If you divide this in 4 weeks, we have 312 quetzales every week. But if we divide just in 5 days, we don't want to take weekends, just Monday through Friday. And in 5 days, you need to save 60 to 50 daily to reach the goal of 15,000 a year. So let's say an example that you start doing business, you're selling food or you're selling anything in your in the place where you live. You can get 60 to 50 easily if you work selling something in your community. I'm very sure about that. And it can be only just presential, but it can be an online business, for example, if you sell the things that you don't want, or you just buy and sell any kind of stuff, you can make 60 to 50 every day to get this goal of 15,000 quetzales in a year. So depends the thing, the object that you want to buy, you need to do this. Divide in months, divide in weeks, divide in days. Depends how much money you are getting. If it's every month or is every 2 weeks, or you get paid weekly, or if you have a business, you have money every day. And that's what you need to do. Just get focused on what you want and look for any type of system that work for you so you can make and reach the goal or anything. So you can buy whatever you want. Now we're going to talk about the habits for small business owner that should adapt. Many successful entrepreneurs attribute their success to good financial habits. When starting and running your business, how you approach your finances could determine whether it fails or succeeds. If you want to see your business grow, here are 4 smart money habits you should adopt today. Remember that when you have a business, you have to reduce cost. If you're using, for example, a lot of electricity, well, you have to reduce this account of electricity. If you are getting, probably you hire a lot of people, let's say you have 10 people in your business, but you really just need 5, well, unfortunately, you have to cut these people out, but that's the way that a business works. Because also you need to get this business to get a lot of profits, so that way your business can grow. Okay, and we have here 4 recommendations if you have a business. First of all, you need to pay yourself. That's one, and this is important because what a person do when they have a business, they take the money from the business for the personal expenses, and that is not correct. When you're running a business, it is crucial that you separate your personal and business account. One of the best ways to help you do this is to ensure that you compensate yourself accordingly. So paying yourself a salary, ensure that you have your own income, so that way you don't dip into your business fund. That is something really important that any person, any businessman, any businesswoman have to do. Because if you take money from your business for your personal expenses, your business is going to fail. After that, you're not going to have enough money to invest. And you need to get a good control of your personal accounts and your business account. The second one, track spending accurately, okay? And what is that? In the first few years of your business, you must keep and track your spending records. So you need to have a good control of all the things that you buy, of all the things that you sell in your business if you manage your accounts by yourself. Try and identify expenses that keep fluctuating, and if your operating costs are too high, so you consider cutting off expenses that you not benefit your business. And what happens if you work with an accountant? Well, you need to ensure that you and your accountant are on the same way. So you need to get often as possible to go over your spending habits and about your cost. Because when you have a company, you have to reduce those costs. Okay, the third one is don't be afraid of loans. Many business owners are afraid of procuring loans. Remember that we talked about loans last week. And in what we need to do to start all this business to run well, you do not have to be afraid of business, but you need to have a good administration of the money that you are getting. That's what is important, to take care about your expenses, to take care about the budget from your business. So don't worry about the financial repercussions that come with them. Debt isn't necessarily a bad thing if you use this tool in a smart way. Just a tool for driving business to grow. A business loan can help you boost your cash flow, purchase equipment, or even expand your business. So what happens when you have a loan? Okay, we already know that you have to pay interest, but you need to get a good administration of that money that you're receiving. So that way you're going to have a lot of cash flow. You can purchase your merchandise, you can purchase equipment, and that way you can expand your business. But you need to separate the money for the repayment of this loan. The fourth thing is make savings a priority. Having liquid savings will give you a solid foundation for pursuing different projects in the future. Review your monthly budget. You see, here we are repeating again this word budget because it's really important to estimate how much money you can comfortably commit to saving every month, and then schedule an automatic transfer to your business savings account. Automating the process will make saving easier for you and ensure that you do it regularly. So remember when we are talking about the personal business and the personal savings, well, we have this recommendation also for business because you need to divide an account for the expenses of your company and another accounts for the business savings for your company or for your business. So it is important that you realize how important is that you can get a budget first, and second, you can get any strategy, any type of technique to organize yourself, organize in a personal way and in business also. So that way you're going to receive the money for the services, for the merchandise that you're selling, or probably just a salary, but you need to know how to spend that money and how important it is to take care of a good financials. Okay, in here we have the questions for this week, and please answer those questions and study those questions for the week. The first question, how you can create a budget. Okay, we talk about that part. Second one, how you can track your spending. Question 3, what happened to you without a budget? Remember that we talk about that part also. It's hard when we don't have a budget. 4, why is budgeting important? And 5, many successful entrepreneurs attribute their success to. You have to complete that part. So let me go back here. Well, today we learn about the personal savings, about the business savings, what happens if you don't have a budget, why it's important to have a budget, why it's important to save money, and some strategies that we should know to save money, like the envelope system. And we're going to learn 2 more strategies, that is the 80-20 strategy, and also the 50-30-20 strategy. That's what we're going to learn right now. So let me share my screen one more time. And we're going to see this. Okay. Okay, so if you don't like to get a budget, but you need to try this 80-20 rule to save money without tracking every expense. This is something, so whatever method you adapt, it's okay, but you need to do it with a lot of responsibility. You need to do it in a very good way. So that way you're going to learn in what you have to do. You have to be very responsible, strict in the things that you are doing for you, because it's your life, it's your money, it's your financial health that is in game here. Okay, so let's check and see this video, and we're going to talk about that from the 80-20 percent method that we're going to learn today. Okay, just give me one moment. Let me pay attention to the video. Let me skip this announcement. Okay, give me one moment. Just give me 1 second. Let me go back in here. Let me upload this. Okay, we're ready.
If you struggle to stick.
Okay. Here we go. Let me share this screen one more time.
You're not alone. That's why so many people are using a simple strategy called the 80-20 rule. Here's how to do it. The first 20% of your paycheck should go towards savings or investments, starting with an emergency fund that covers 3 to 6 months of your expenses. The remaining 80% covers needs and wants, like food, rent, and entertainment. This rule gives you a lot of flexibility for how you spend your money while ensuring that a portion of your income is being saved. For the best results, schedule automatic transfers on payday from your checking account into a savings or investment account. By automatically deducting from your paycheck, you won't be tempted to spend that money. Out of sight, out of mind.
As you see here in this video, we have this part when from the income that you have or the money that you earn, you have to save 20%. This is the first strategy that we are learning today. So what happened with the other 80%? In here, you need to have the money for your expenses, the money for university, the money for your food, the money for pay any type of account. But you need to save 20% of the income every month. Let's check the second strategy that is called 50-30-20%. This is the other strategy. Check that one. We're going to check this rule.
30-20 rule is. So as always, let's write this down so we can get a visual representation of what this means. So pretend that we have a pie right here, and half of this pie, which is the 50%, actually stands for your needs. So again, this is all about budgeting and understanding where your money is going and an ideal personal budget portfolio. So 50% are needs. Let's call this 30% are going to wants, and then 20% is going to savings or paying off debt. So now that you have a visual representation, let's break down each one of these numbers and give you examples of each so that you can be gauging your own personal finance based on these metrics. Keep in mind, we're working with after-tax dollars, which is called net income. So you may have a gross pay of, let's say, 50 grand a year, but after taxes, you're only dealing with another specific number. We're using that after-tax dollar number. So in terms of the 50% needs, what are some things that can be included in this? So let's think about regular living expenses. So we have groceries, we have housing, whether you have a mortgage or rent, you have insurance for health. Heaven forbid something happened to you, I would consider health insurance definitely a need. You can have utilities, so electricity, things like that, etc., etc. So the way I define a need is that it's basically something that would greatly inconvenience you or something that you literally cannot live without. So food, shelter, things like that. So when you budget 50% towards your needs, remember that those are what you're looking at. So the next logical area to go into is going to be what is really considered a want. And I think this is where most Americans run into the difference between wants and needs, okay? So a want is something that causes a minor inconvenience in your life, okay? It's not necessarily a need to where, hey, if I don't eat or if I don't have shelter, I may die, right? A want is something where it's like, hey, you know, am I willing to give a minor inconvenience like dropping Netflix or not having Hulu or not buying a brand new grill to grill a steak on? You know, those are needs, okay? So some of the things that would fall under this category would be things like shopping. Do you absolutely need to shop for brand new clothes right this second? Are you going to drop dead if you don't get a new pair of shoes? Maybe my wife will, but I know that I can survive. You know, dining out. I think this is a big one for Americans. A lot of people, for whatever reason, their lifestyles are so busy that, you know, it's easier just to jump in the car and go grab something to eat rather than preparing the food yourself. Hobbies. So I think that everyone should definitely have a hobby. That's one of the greatest joys of life, whether it's gardening, you know, you fly drones, you're a video editor, whatever you want to do, whatever keeps you happy as a hobby, this definitely falls under a want because it's not necessary to live. So again, guys, a want is something that you don't necessarily need, but it improves the quality of your life greatly. So let's go to the last 20%. And I know a lot of this sounds basic, but until you actually write this down and understand where all your money is going to, it's like your wants can easily creep into that needs category to where they're both overflowing and you're in debt every month. So speaking of debt, let's talk about savings, okay? So savings and paying off debt. This is where the last 20% of your income should go to. And again, these are all net numbers. So if you have, let's say for example, an emergency fund, okay? This I would consider savings. What I like to do for emergency funds, this is 6 to 12 months of living expenses. So if you know that your needs category and a little bit of wants comes out to be, let's say $2,000 a month for your entire family, you know that you need to save about $12,000 to $24,000 in your emergency fund. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but you know, 1 or 2 layoffs in a family of 1 or 2 income earners, that can really save your butt right there, you guys. Obviously, paying off debts. So if you have credit cards, student loans, things like that, these are debts that you should just smash using that 20%. And I will make another video about how to actually pay off debt using the debt avalanche and the debt snowball method. Okay? And then obviously, if you want to save for retirement, in my opinion, this is one of the things that most Americans will be suffering from 20, 30 years from now, because a lot of them are just not focusing on retirement savings. So I know a lot of this stuff sounds like common sense, you guys, but until you actually create a monthly budget, knowing what your monthly net income is, breaking it down by 50, 30, and 20%, you would be surprised at where different dollars go for different categories. So
Okay, like you see here, the system take you the 50% for all the expenses that you need, 30% for all the things that you want. So it's okay to get something sometimes also, but you're gonna put just this 20% for your savings and to pay all the debts that you may have. So that's why it's so important. Get this thing. And let me check this, the last video. Check here, it's just this is the last rule that we have here.
Is they want to be able to save more money, or they want to spend less. Basically, they want to get on top of their finances. And this is a really important habit to develop, because we know that the difference between being rich and poor isn't how much you spent last Wednesday, it's how much you spend every single day. Your small financial habits all build up over time. So how do we get into a saving habit when the reward from saving is something that's weeks or months or years off? If you're saving money for your kid's tuition and they're 8 years old right now, how do you reward yourself for putting away $10 or $15 a week? Well, there was a big study that was done actually in Peru. And what they did is they asked some people to save money each week. And then they asked another group of people to go and save money. But as soon as they would save some money, they were instructed to either give themselves a reward, like sit back and have a nice glass of wine and compliment themselves on saving money that week, or the teller at the bank where they were saving would say to them, congratulations on saving this week. When your daughter goes to college, she's going to be so proud of you. The people who had a small reward each week, they saved 3 to 4 times as much as everyone else. If you're trying to save money, it is essential that you come up with some weekly routine where you reward yourself for doing the right thing. Every Friday night, sit down with your computer and look at your bank account and transfer over the $10 or the $50 that you're saving for your kids' tuition, or just look at the automatic transfer that's hopefully happening, and pat yourself on the back and have a nice glass of wine and turn to your spouse and say, you know what? We killed it this week. We got it done. You got to give yourself some kind of immediate reward that lets you feel good about what you just did. And if you do that, then the behavior will become easier and easier and easier.
Okay, and here the last system is a reward system in which every time that you reach a goal in your savings, you can give something to yourself. Well, thank you so much for your attention, and I hope that you enjoyed this class about savings and all the different techniques that we learned today. So answer this question, and I hope that you have a great week. Thank you so much for your attention.